This is potentially the most substantial and damaging attack on U.S. critical infrastructure ever.
This gas station right here just got a delivery overnight, and they're already running out.
On the 7th of May, a ransomware attack forced Colonial Pipeline to shut down its operations. The company is responsible for nearly half the fuel supply for the US East Coast. The attack locked the company's system and stole over 100 gigabytes of corporate data, which resulted in the company paying out a $5 million ransom to regain access to their systems. Then an investigation by the FBI identified a hacker group called Darkside as being responsible for the attack. 3 days later, it seems like the group has apologized. In a post on Darkside's website, they stated that, "We are apolitical. We do not participate in geopolitics. Do not try to tie us in with a defined government and look for other motives. Our goal is to make money and not creating problems for society. We will introduce moderation and check each company that our partners want to encrypt to avoid social consequences in the future." So why would a hacker group attack a network and then seemingly apologize? And who are these partners that they're talking about moderating? Well, let's talk a little bit about ransomware and ransomware as a service. Ransomware is a type of malware that encrypts and exfiltrates a victim's data. The ransomware developed by Darkside both makes the victim's data inaccessible and threatens to publish the data if the ransom is not paid. This is referred to as the double extortion method. There are many ways that ransomware can gain access to a network, but the primary way is through phishing methods, mostly in the form of attachments that come to the victim in an email, masquerading as a file that they should trust. Once a victim opens the ransomware, it will begin the encryption process, usually using a combination of RSA and AES encryption, while at the same time exfiltrating the data from the computer. The encrypted data can only be decrypted using a private key that is known by the attacker. Once this process is complete, the ransomware will usually leave a ransom note on the user's desktop with an overview of the ransom and instructions for paying the ransom. Ransomware is big business. According to Comparitech, the ransomware industry is growing rapidly and is likely to exceed $20 billion in 2021. And a report by Sonic Wall Lab says that there were over 300 million detections of ransomware worldwide in 2020 alone. Hospitals and financial services are prime targets for ransomware attacks due to the sensitivity of the data that they control. But the Darkside group considers themselves as a kind of Robin Hood-like organization. The group has publicly stated that they prefer to target organizations that can afford to pay large ransoms instead of hospitals, schools, non-profits, and governments. And they also claim to donate some of their profits to charity. The Darkside ransomware made its first appearance in August of 2020. After seeing substantial success with their software, the group established the Darkside Ransom as a Service product, or RAS for short. RAS is a business model that greatly proliferates the spread of ransomware. In this business model, the ransomware developers offer their products on a subscription basis to partners. In addition to developing the ransomware software, the RAS providers handle the actual ransom payments, host the stolen data, and even provide tech support, as well as handling media relations. The users of the RAS service are responsible for breaking into networks and getting the ransomware running. The RAS providers are also entitled to a portion of the profits taken in by ransoms. Sources say that Darkside takes 25% of ransoms under $500,000 and 10% of ransoms over $5 million. Darkside attempts to be an ethical hacker group of sorts, hacking only those that can afford to pay. So partners of the Darkside RAS service are also screened. They are said to recruit partners on Russian hacking forums, and candidates would need to prove their ability to break into big networks. So the Darkside group don't actually choose the specific targets themselves, they merely provide the services that enable the attacks. Joe Biden suggested that the US would take action against Darkside to disrupt their ability to operate.
We have efforts underway with the FBI and DOJ, Department of Justice, to disrupt and prosecute ransomware criminals.
In response, Darkside made a statement saying that due to the pressure from the US, the affiliate program is closed. The group also claimed that it had lost access to its payment server, blog, and funds that were withdrawn to an unspecified account. But even if Darkside has shut down, the threat from their ransomware has not passed. Cybercriminal networks often disband, regroup, and rebrand themselves in an effort to throw off law enforcement. The case of the Colonial Pipeline had grave economic repercussions, but ransomware is a huge and growing industry. So it could be just a matter of time until one of these attacks becomes political. The US has a policy of not negotiating with terrorists because paying off terrorists will only incentivize them to plan even more egregious attacks. But imagine if there were a ransom on the government's most top secrets, or a political attack that shut down the energy grid. The costs here are very different to the costs of a few kidnapped civilians. So would the government pay off the ransom? A lot of these hacker groups are allowed to operate in countries like Russia. So would the US government go to war with Russia in order to dissolve these groups? The Colonial Pipeline attack is one of the most socially impactful cyber attacks to date, but ransomware is getting more profitable, more advanced, and easier to use. So as a result, far more complex and consequential situations will surely arise in the future, and it's likely that this is just a taste of what is to come. Hey guys, thanks for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you feel like it, you can leave a comment too. It really helps. Thanks guys.